uncomfortable topic to talk about, especially for a guy, young guys in their early 20s. And, I'm glad that, I could tune in and, listen to you guys.
Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the broadcast. The phone number is 888-659-3727. It is great to be here.
It is.
On a Friday. Let's say the 15th of May already?
It's already halfway through the damn month.
Dude, I'm almost 61.
It always comes back to you.
Of course it does.
It blows my mind that it seems like 2 days ago it was like, it's middle of April?
Yeah.
And here we are, middle of May.
Everything is just going by so fast. And you know what? That's not so terrible.
I want to slow down now that summer's here.
Yeah, I mean, but the way I look at it is, keep your health, number one. If you can keep some hair, great.
Got mine back.
I'm glad you're feeling better, by the way. A little money in the bank so you don't have to worry about shit. And then, ride it out. I'm going to ride this shit. I'm going to ride this shit till the wheels fall off. That's what I've decided.
As you should. Good. I like hearing that.
Well, life. I'm just talking about life. The show, I'm quitting maybe next month.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
Guys, give us a call. This is the Hair Loss Show. Phone number is 888-659-3727. We are live. I'm live here in Los Angeles. Alive still. Joe Tillman is the original hair transplant mentor. The original hair transplant mentor out of Vancouver, British Columbia. The most documented hair transplant patient ever in the history of hair transplant surgery and the internet.
That's a mouthful.
What's happening, brother?
Yes. Feeling like I was halfway through my morning and I realized I feel like a new man today. I feel so much better. The past couple of weeks I've been hit with this cold bug or whatever, and took me forever to get over it, but I'm like 100% today.
Was
feeling
it
great.
hantavirus?
I don't know what the hell it was. Hunted? I don't know. But it was a busy day today because I had to go downtown. I couldn't do the phone thing because the phone it always takes forever doing these things. I had to go downtown and go to the Chinese consulate and talk to them about a visa because I'm going to China. About 2 weeks because I've been invited by FUE Global, which is a combination of FUE Asia Society and FUE Europe. A combined meeting in Guangzhou, China, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Hong Kong on the mainland. And I've been invited to give a talk.
Mazel tov. You mentioned it briefly to me the last time we spoke, which is what? Was that last week? I don't remember.
Well, we've spoken since then, but yeah, I told you last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been scrambling to, it's all last minute. And so I'm getting my official invitation letter. And then on Tuesday, this is my worry because here in British Columbia, it's a holiday on Monday. And so the office is closed. So I went down there and talked to them, making sure I know what I need to bring on Tuesday and I can get it expedited. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. You get to just fine. It's like, okay, great. So
dude,
feeling good about that.
What's with the accent?
I'm being racist.
I guess we're allowed to do that again.
It's all because of Ben Bankus and
what about what's his name? Shane Gillis and all these guys.
Well, yeah.
They're back.
Ben Bankus.
Racism is back.
Following in their footsteps.
Yeah.
But he's a Canadian that talks specifically about Canadian issues, which is, they're hilarious. He's funny as hell. But anyway, I've always wanted to go, and it was really cool where Dr. Ben, let me get her name right. Hold on a second. The president of FUE Asia invited me. Her last name is, Dr. Ben Botwang. Nice lady. And so I'd like to formally, publicly thank her for the invitation, which has been accepted. And yeah, it'll be fun. I'll be there for 8 days, I think.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. Get loaded and just,
Oh.
fire off on these people. Unload, brother.
I'm gonna have the bottle up there. I'm gonna pull Ricky Gervais.
Just unload on these guys.
Oh yeah,
You know what?
absolutely.
I think you should pipe me in for a second. I'll show my FU Europe Lifetime Achievement Award.
And we'd like to welcome Joe Tillman to the podium, giving the talk entitled "You All Suck, and This Is Why." Just kidding. It'll be a very productive talk.
What's
actually.
Robert Hellner just joking about now? I have a 5. I'm a tan 5 head. What else?
Call me a racist bastard? No, just kidding, Spencer. Oh, he retracted it. He's not. He doesn't have the cojones to keep it up there. I get it. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I hope to have a great trip. It'll be fun.
Unbelievable.
It's a bucket list. There's so much to China, though. It's like going to Guangzhou. That wasn't on my bucket list, but it's supposed to be pretty cool there. Food's supposed to be really good, and there are other places I wanted to go, but I'll gladly take this. It's not far from Shenzhen, which is a place I wanted to go to.
Well, while you're there, I want you to check out this toy factory. I'm thinking about getting into this new business, and maybe you could help me out.
Well, I'm thinking about going to a laser cap factory.
Dude, you should. That would be hilarious.
Actually, they're in Shenzhen, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can
we
do
actually
that.
just got. I'm looking through a new application, and it was interesting. I'm not going to say who it was, but initially they didn't want to give me the exact power of each diode, and I was like, why? Why is that some sort of private intel?
It shouldn't be, actually.
No, and then they explain why, and this is every aspect of this industry is very it's unique, but it's not unique. It's all the same. Dog eat dog. Everybody has this feast or famine mentality. It's just the way that it is.
Well, if they want to be able to sell it in North America, don't they have to actually disclose those kinds of details? Because if it has, the
Not to the
lasers
public.
themselves have to fall within a certain class of laser, which is, unless they're very specific about the wavelength in between
They
point
are.
A and point B. Okay,
They
All
are,
right.
and also it's a mix of
And the wattage.
LEDs and low-level lasers, and that's what a lot of these companies are using now.
Jesus. LEDs.
So,
Okay.
well, red light therapy. That's not
I know.
laser. That's all LED now.
Yeah.
It's the way it is, brother.
But they don't cut into the scalp like lasers do. Lasers cut. They're freaking laser beams.
Sharks with freaking laser beams.
Sharks with freaking laser beams.
Guys, the phone number 888-659-3727. We are here to take your calls if you want, but if you don't, go fuck yourselves. I'll close up shop and, I'll call it a day.
We'll go. I got other stuff to do.
Look, I'm almost 61.
I got so much stuff to put out lately. Guys, I got to tell you, stuff's happening. Not just Guangzhou, China. Not just magazine covers, people.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about your magazine covers. You've been on dude, first of all, I don't know who your PR agent is, but honestly, the best in the business.
Apparently.
The best in the business.
There's at least 2 more that are coming out, or they're actually out. I just haven't shared them. I'll just say this. I don't want to get too far into this, at least not yet. It has certainly been eye-opening and interesting, and it's interesting to get the questions I'm getting because it shows how little media knows about this. Even with the piles of information that's out there for them to sift through and learn something, the questions that have been coming at me are so basic. It's almost comical.
No one knows what you're talking about. We're being very cryptic, and
Well, no,
people
I'm
are just
talking
dropping
about-
off the show. Go ahead.
I'm talking about the questions that I was asked for these pieces, because they asked me questions about, well, tell us about this, tell us about that.
Oh yeah.
And they're very basic, and I can't throw shade on these guys, because they know what they know, but it also shows that they don't do a lot of research before they actually ask these questions, and that's fine, because it's up to me to give the right answers, the ones that make more sense on a basic level, and that's the audience. It's people that have a baseline level of understanding, very very baseline. So it's fine, but it's nice to have that recognition. It's nice to have that exposure, and hopefully some people will learn something about it. But the big thing is I'm actually going to be talking about my experience with this pretty soon, about what it's like to be approached by these organizations, what it's like to be, I'll share some of the questions. I'll share some of the buildup on this, on how it works. I think it'll be an eye opener, because it was for me, for sure. But I think it'll be an eye opener for people that are interested in this kind of thing, wondering, wow, how's this even happening? It'll be.
Do you know what it takes to get
Yep.
on the cover of a magazine, people?
You asking me?
The fact that Tillman is out there, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how many he posted. It's amazing. First of all, again,
5.
you don't have to tell me now, but when it's time to let me know who the PR people are, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very fascinating. I have to tell you this. Hold on. I was actually asked to be on a kind of pretty like mid-level but popular podcast hosted by a woman, which is fine. Sent me a bunch of questions. Well, the reason you say that is you understand it.
It's hosted by a woman. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Just saying.
not that there's anything wrong with that, but my point is, this is a person who has not lost a hair in her life, thinks this is very clickable stuff, which it is, and provides me with these questions, or the producer provides me with these questions. Now, first of all, I prefer to go on just ask away, whatever you want. I don't want to even know what you're going to ask me. I don't need to be prepared for this stuff. But fine, that's the way that these podcasts do it, and they have producers. It's a whole rigmarole. Mm-hmm. And I just said, listen, I understand that you want some of the basics, but there's other people that might be better geared towards giving you this type of super basic information. I'm here to essentially expose the truth about this, ridiculous industry. That's what I do. And if you want me to be on there to talk about the reality of how many women are being completely taken advantage of in this multi-billion-dollar industry, we can talk about that. And I just kind of laid out some things. The producer came back to me and was like, I'm not going to say the name of the host. Well, so-and-so would really, we'll definitely touch on those things, but so-and-so would prefer to touch on this. And it's like shampoos, products and shampooing tips. And I'm just like, look, I appreciate it. I know that I'd probably get some sort of, I don't know, maybe I'd get more people to follow me on Instagram or whatever, and it could be beneficial, but I cannot stomach it. I can't sit there on some white couch answering these questions for this chick who's pretty popular, I got to say. She's got a big channel. But I just felt I couldn't do it. Now, maybe that's a mistake on my part, Joe.
Well, for one, if I knew I was getting those kinds of questions, I would go on with such a great attitude, and I would have so much fun with it, because I would say something like, well, it's not so much the type of shampoo, it's how you massage it in your scalp. So it's well known that if you massage it in with one hand in a clockwise and the other hand in a counterclockwise fashion, that helps to reinvigorate the mitochondria. Like I would have so much fun with that. I would have so much fun with that.
Well, I don't mind. I don't think there's anything wrong
Missed
with people
opportunity, my friend.
asking basic questions, and that's fine. But when you kind of spell things out and explain exactly what you do, and they say they want to go in this direction,
Yeah.
I'm just like, look,
That's what I'm saying.
I've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to be 61 soon. I don't want to sit there. First of all, I mean, it's not a major amount of time, but I could end up in traffic. I know they would send me a car. That's great. But I just don't want to waste my time. And somebody else told me, well, that's a pretty good podcast to be on. You know, you can get some, you know, maybe a little bit of notoriety in this particular world.
Maybe attention on, I don't know, this broadcast?
Yeah, you know, I have to tell you the truth. I don't think that it would make. I honestly don't think that it would make much of a difference, just based on the producer that I was in contact with and what she came back with to me with.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience anymore. And listen, I know there's guys that whore themselves out on anything. I get it, and I was one of those guys back in the TV days, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, 30 years ago when I first started, and I would take anything and get on any show that I could. Do whatever I could, but I can't do it anymore. I don't have the patience.
I would absolutely do it just to have fun.
Now, if Mark Norman wanted to have me on, We Might Be Drunk, I'd sit down with these guys and talk about hair. So I know he's really curious. But stuff like that, I would do that. But no, man, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. You guys in the chat, let me know if I should have done that. Guys, phone number 888-659-3727. But that came to mind because you were talking about PR, all the press that you're getting, covers of magazines, which is insane. I mean, especially for hair loss. Honestly, unless you discovered a cure for hair loss, how the hell did you get on the cover of a magazine?
I don't even know how. Like, it just came up like one day. You know, a email came through. It was like, okay, sure, we'll talk, and then it snowballed.
I think it's pretty cool, and I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you. It'll probably come to an end soon. We'll see. But like I said, I'm going to be talking about it.
I just got the
maybe
funniest
next
text.
week.
I just got the funniest text from Andrew Zarian. Andrew, if you're listening, man, I almost spit out my coffee. All right.
And that's a trick because he's not even drinking coffee.
Yeah, but that's.
Yeah, but
just a colloquialism.
It might be next week when I talk about how this all happened. So it's pretty interesting, I think. We'll see.
Oh, guys, give us a phone call, 888-659-3727. Let's see if the phones are working. Oh, they are. I mean, this is the usual sound that we're getting since we've been on the internet. But
it might be because I didn't put a real title. Like I didn't have time. I was so busy trying to run around for this visa go to China thing that I didn't think about what the subject should be. I didn't really do some research. There was an announcement on Hair Loss Cure 2020 about another company in South Korea that got like over $1 billion in seed money. Is 1 billion won, which is like $1.5 million, but still encouraging, and they're talking about pluripotent stem cells.
I'm not even going to help you with that. I didn't want to see you struggle.
Yeah, well, I did. Early days, but just another company throwing their hat in the ring. We'll see how it works out. Fingers crossed. That's all I got. Like, I didn't have time to really look at it.
I'm looking at it now.
But
it's funny. I'm having an ocular migraine, so I can only kind of read it. Yet again, a new company in South Korea has announced its intention of curing hair loss. Ostem, also called Q-Stem.
Q-Stem, that's right.
Also called Q-Stem, is a biotech company that was formed in late 2024 and specializes in treating hair loss using stem cell technology. The startup was originally founded by faculty from the prestigious City University of Hong Kong. Blah, 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 and we got another player in the game. We'll see in 10 years.
Yada. Yeah, we'll see in 10 years. Yeah.
But I will tell
You
you,
never
the
know.
one thing I love this site, though. I mean, I have to tell you that, and that's why they're a trusted content creator of the American Hair Loss Association, because this guy forever has been writing his heart out to try to provide really ungrateful people with the latest and greatest information when it comes to the future of hair loss. And I've always admired that.
Mm-hmm.
Well thought out, very well written. I mean, this guy knows how to write. Way before ChatGPT.
Exactly. Yeah, he's been doing this since I think he started it in 2016. Hence the name Hair Loss Cure 2020, because he was thinking 4 years or hoping 4 years, or 2015 maybe.
But just the effort that he puts into this, and the fact that he just doesn't give up. I mean, I really admire that. I mean, I gave up 20 years ago. I've just been calling it in all this time. You know that.
Yeah.
And when Joe from Staten Island lost it because you were going to be the co-host, I was about to quit.
Oh yeah. And I pulled you back in.
Anyway, I would read the whole thing to you guys, but I'm having a little bit of an ocular migraine, so it's a little difficult to see it completely.
It's available for everyone to read, though. HairLossCure2020.com. It's currently the number one, or the first story on top of the page. So go there, check it out. After this broadcast. I'm like, podcast is stuck in my head lately.
Whatever.
It's not a podcast.
Well, it's a live stream. I guess that's what they call it now.
It would be a podcast if it was uploaded to like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something like that, I guess. Yeah. Just the audio chip.
Which I probably should do, but I've been too lazy to do any of that stuff all these years. And also there's a point to it. I couldn't deal with the bullshit. You know my story. Joe. You know that I didn't want to deal with the nonsense around. As soon as I got off the radio, I really thought about it, and I'm like, everything I was putting online back in the day, I had to deal with some backlash. I had to deal with nonsense. I saw no value in it for me on a personal level. So what I did was I just streamed with you guys. Whatever happens, happens. That's it.
Sometimes we get calls. Sometimes we don't get calls.
Well, listen, I'm going to give out the phone number again, 888-659-3727. If we don't get a phone call or a question in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to call it a night.
I'm down with that.
I mean, we could vamp about all kinds of bullshit. I could talk about this effed up industry. I can talk about this this poor young guy who is now having a second hair transplant, flew overseas, had his first, total failure. Luckily, for some reason, even overseas, he only had a 1,500 graft procedure, which was unique. So he did dodge a bullet, but now he's had like a total of, I think, 4,000 grafts. The second procedure is 2,500 grafts to repair the first procedure. And I fingers crossed that this guy does well. But he went to the same region, and I don't know if he had any kind of real expert assessment in his home country. I kind of doubt that. I was just trying to be encouraging to the guy. And I think that I was, because, it could have been a lot worse for him. But this is the reality. And also, who's that MMA guy that recently came out? He has I'm not going to say who he is because I don't want the clinic to be on my ass. But
I don't know.
A lot of people are really they're having a lot of trouble. And I also want to make this point. I saw a reel today. I think it was some sort of a BBC documentary on issues with Turkish hair transplants and how many, 1 million people a year traveling to Turkey to have a hair transplant and how potentially dangerous it is. It's not just dangerous in Turkey. I actually think they get a bad rap now.
I do too.
Because they just do the most volume of these chop shop operations. This is what it is all over the world.
Chop shop is the norm.
The black market is the current industry. The anomalies where the guys, the handful of surgeons who are not part of this black market are the anomalies.
Yeah.
Miami, Los Angeles, New York, all the same model. And people used to call it the Turkish model. It's really not the Turkish model. It was kind of created, I would say, in the United States by companies who were using per diem technicians and some very well-known surgeons who were really trying to get a chokehold on this and claim they're pioneers. And they really started to allow technicians to perform surgery on patients. So it was really some entrepreneurial physicians in Turkey who took that ball and said, we could do a better job. We could charge a lot less money to screw people up just like they do in the U.S. and in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see people talking about the black market and blaming Turkish, doctors, there's a lot of really great Turkish hair transplant surgeons. When I say a lot, there's maybe 10. But that's enough.
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse. That's enough. Maybe there's more than 10. Maybe there's 12. All right?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. But there are some of the best surgeons in that region of the world, for sure. So when I see these, I don't know, I can't even share stuff like that on my Instagram at this point because I really think that it's unfair to the really great, caring, ethical surgeons in Turkey who have to deal with all the fallout from this type of content.
Well, I think it's an easy scapegoat for the industry to what's going on with my there we go to kind of distract from their own problems, their own shortcomings.
100%. That's why the black market campaign was created.
No, of course, yeah. And it's funny because the people that were the loudest about this black market campaign that started 8 years ago now. 8 years ago, wow.
Is it 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was 8 years ago.
How do I not age? Go ahead.
And I mean, some of the loudest critics of that model are the ones that are being impacted the most by that model in their mind, when in reality, a lot of what's going on there is just making them look bad. They weren't that great to begin with.
Oh, listen, the loudest, the guys who are beating the drum the loudest were some of the worst surgeons in this field. And I use the term surgeons loosely.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying that. The loudest voices in that trade organization, except for one guy who helped to start the campaign. Mm-hmm. I will say that Arthur Tegozinski is a good hair transplant surgeon. I think he's a jerk, to be honest with you, but he's a good doctor, and I think that he's, he really is one of the leaders in the field, but he's a prick, at least to me.
He was pretty nice to me, but I can't do any wrong apparently with those guys.
They love you. No, he was very, very difficult to deal with. Incredible, just a super politician. I never forget when he said that.
What's in it for you?
Besides what's in it for me, he did say that I make too much money. He said that, and he said that. What did he say? That really struck me as fascinating. Something like the ISHS will never concede.
Something like that.
That's not the right word. The ISHS will never capitulate.
That was it. Capitulate.
To Spencer Kobren. I'm like, capitulate? Oh, what are you talking about? I'm trying to help you guys. We're trying to. We want to save the lives of vulnerable patients. Capitulate. And at first, I was like, maybe there's a language barrier here, but I don't think so.
No,
I think he really believed that if we were to get involved, me especially, in kind of leading the way to help consumers, that they would be bending over for me. And I found that to be sick and comical at the same time.
Exactly. Anyway, good times.
Listen, back and forth. We're on a radio show. No dead air, brother. If we don't get calls and you want to talk, we got to go back and forth.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just saying. It was 8 years ago, and it doesn't even seem. Ouch! It doesn't seem like it was 8 years ago, because. Yeah, that was it was 2018. Yeah, 2018. 8 years ago, we were invited for that meeting, that virtual meeting, and by the time it was over, I was in shock at how it was such a veiled attempt to basically absorb us into their plan, into their goals, not to work together to come up with an idea.
But I don't even know why they would want that. Why do they want any involvement with us at all in that capacity?
Well, they recognize the value.
What's the value to them?
It's
that we shut up. We shut up and we capitulate.
No, you're forgetting. They wanted us to carry their message, and we said your message is stupid. It's a waste of time. So if we carry the message, it was their idea that people that we work with will be more inclined to carry the message as well. And it was stupid. It was a dumb idea. So, but anyway, so.
And I remember I'm sitting in the office and I'm like, I remember Victoria's like, here's your, or you can get, you can pick up your pass here and there. And I go to look at the pass. It's a vendor's pass. Like I'm still not allowed into the actual scientific parts of the meeting or scientific into the talk.
And that's what's different. That's why I'm happy to be a part of this FUE Global conference. They're allowing me. They're pulling me into these things. Like I'm in the surgical workshop. They're allowing me to be part of the meeting itself, not just be some schmuck with a fez
and a vendor's pass
giving us talk. Yeah, in a vendor pass. So it's done differently, and I appreciate that. So that's another reason why I'm happy to be a part of it. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be fun. It'll be nice to be in a meeting again, because as tacky as they can be, number one, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it in China, because it is a Chinese medical association that's actually hosting the event. And they're supposed to be very organized. It's supposed to be very on point.
I'm sure you're going to walk. You're going to get off that plane. There's going to be a bunch of kids cheering. These guys have their shit together.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, looking forward to that, to see how they do it. And I'm sure I'll run into some people that I know I'll run into people I know. There's some people that there are actually some people there that'll be there that I don't know who they are, because the names couldn't be shared with me just out of privacy. But based on the story leading into it, I'm really curious who it's going to be. Non-doctors, I'll loosely call them influencer type people. So
really?
I'm really interested. Yeah, two others.
That's fascinating. Well, listen, it is what it is. This is what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine who would be. Well, I guess I could.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some ideas floating around my head, but we'll see. We'll see.
So I told you they're going to make you share a room with these guys.
I've already got my room.
Yeah.
I already got my hotel, and it's a single bed. Oh, exactly. You're going to share it with someone. No, it's it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Gracious hosts and a good program. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, I can tell you this. I have absolutely zero interest in ever going to one of these meetings again.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I do. There are some surgeons, some doctors in the field who I like. And here, if you know anything about me, and I think you do by now, I've never really wanted to become overly friendly with these guys, even members of the IHRS, because it makes it very difficult when you're friends with somebody to have to remove somebody from the organization if they F up.
It's not as difficult as you think.
So, but there are doctors who are very close proximity to where I am right now.
Oh yeah,
and I'm going to say something. Then this is maybe controversial. I want to know what your opinion is. Mm-hmm. I know that you visit clinics, and you know it's nice, and I'm glad that you do these interviews and stuff like that. But I always felt that the times that I have early in my career, essentially they roll out the red carpet. You don't really, unless it's really bad, you don't see anything bad. I went to one where I was just like, holy shit, okay, this isn't going to work out. I think you did too. But normally you see the very best patients, the best staff doing surgery that day. And you were essentially just there to help them market their practice, at least in my experience when I started doing this many, many years ago. So after I went to a few clinics, I was just like, this is such bullshit. I do not need to go in here and be bought lunch and then dinner and to talk about, you know, how they're running their practice and, you know, what their thought process is and, you know, why this plant is in this particular corner because, you know, this is feng shui.
To hide the bloodstain.
This is feng shui. And, you know, my staff, you know, my head tech believes in feng shui. I could tell you some hilarious ridiculous conversations.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a great idea to be close with these guys. And again, I've made friends with a few who I really enjoy, and that's the problem.
I'll explain why I do these visits and how I can get around that red carpet treatment. One of the things I do is I actually but I start talking to people at the clinic that are not my main contacts. And it's funny that there's a clinic that I went to visit where it turns out one of the technicians that was there, I didn't know she was there, and I know her.
Oh, okay.
And so I already knew I didn't have to start talking to someone to kind of gain their trust a little bit to see what kind of guard would be let down. This chick, she opened up. She's like, "Oh yeah, we don't normally do this or whatever," and I already knew this going in because I can see what's going on. Like I can tell when they're putting on a show versus when it's something that's normal. Because when it's not something normal, when they're putting on a show, it doesn't go smoothly. It either looks rehearsed or not rehearsed, but it doesn't look like it's something they do day in and day out when they do something new because I'm there. I can pick it out. But the main thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for things that aren't obvious. Like I'm not looking for the things that they think I'm looking for, basically. I am actually looking to see if there's deficiencies that maybe they don't understand. And they're not necessarily like code violations or anything. It's just things that I see that could be done better for the patient's benefit. And sometimes they have no idea. And I'll make the suggestion. They're like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll do that. I've done that many times. Other times, I've told you about two of these. One of my very first trips, I actually cut short because I was supposed to be there for 3 days of surgical observation and clinical observation. I left halfway or at the end of day one because of what I saw going on. It was very early. And I'll never forget, I was actually questioning myself. It's like, is it this bad everywhere? Am I going to, like, is this just a massive waste of time because all these clinics are shit and they're hiding it well? And I'm going to see it behind the scenes? Thankfully, it wasn't the case. But another situation was I've been doing this for a few years, and I told you about this one too. There was a representative from Artis that just showed up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And she was talking about, I started asking her about punch diameter. And I took pictures of the punch that she brought in to talk about. And I even took measurements. With,
it was like the size of a sugar cookie.
Yeah, I actually had access to a micrometer, and I took measurements of the punch, the outer diameter, and it wasn't what she said it was. And I'm not going to talk about the clinic because they're no longer a part of what I do. But and to their credit, I don't think the clinic was actually using that punch. It was just something that she was trying to push on them. But I see shit. I see stuff. I know when the red carpet treatment is not real, or when the activities are not legitimate for their day to day. I can see it. So I can appreciate what they're doing, and they obviously everyone wants to put their best foot forward, put on their best face for when the Joe Tillman's coming, but I can see through it. I know what questions to ask, and the questions they're not expecting. They've not rehearsed the questions. I know which people to go to that aren't the go-to people to ask these questions as well. So,
well, you know what everyone else does? They go to these clinics and they kiss their asses, and they want to get, some good content for social media, and that's it. That's what happens.
Well, that's. Yeah, the blue moon occurrences. Yeah, when some of these guys do go to clinics, but the majority of the times, no one goes to these clinics. The clinic will contact whoever that has a list, and says, "What does it take to be mentioned in whatever you're doing?" Oh, send me your website.
Well, in all fairness, we, in the 25 years of the IHRS, we're not soliciting doctors. Doctors have to apply to the organization, so they do reach out to us. I'm not getting on the phone calling people up saying, "Hey, would you like to be a part of the IHRS?"
Right.
Now that may be changing soon, as we discussed, because we're making some changes, and I'm still not picking up the phone, but. Look, all I'm saying is I think I'm very fortunate that because we came out the way that we did, and guys, the phone was just ringing, so call back, 888-659-3727. The way that I came out initially got a lot of notoriety. So the book was published. No one had exposed the industry before. So the industry was kind of primed. People were very primed to either be a part of what we were doing or to learn more about what we were doing. All of a sudden, right away, even before we launched the American Hair Loss Association and then the IHRS, we became the clearinghouse for complaints through the Bald Truth website, which was nutty because it's basically just a big picture of me and a couple of things on there. And then all of a sudden, all these complaints are coming in. That's how the whole Gary Hitzig thing came. So we were able to build the database and just see, okay, these people, once we started the IHRS, these guys are applying. Look at all these complaints. I didn't even have to go in to see who was fucking people up. That was the beauty of the late 90s in this industry and the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Everything basically was full access to what was happening. And then, the complaints that we would get from the front desk from soup to nuts, the beginning, the end, even the way that these people were answering the phones. and making all types of claims about, I just remember this one guy said that he was promised a Cadillac of hair transplants. I had to laugh. And this is from a receptionist or a front desk person.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if the front desk person answers the phone and says that their doctor is doing something that's unique from everybody else or the best of the best, hang up. That's not their job. They're not here to sell you. They're also in their own sphere, their own bubble. They don't know any different.
Yeah.
And I promise you, as soon as they're fired, they're going to be talking shit about the doctor they just said performs the Cadillac of hair transplants.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, good times.
It makes it so difficult for me to see any type of a doctor. If something happens to me, God forbid, I am fucked.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm to the point now where, well, I've been here to this point quite a while. Is I see these guys on Instagram or YouTube or wherever talking about, their procedure is the best, or this is the best, or that's the best, and I'm reminded of the Joeism I came up with. The tool is only as good as the hand that wields it, because ultimately there's so many different ways to skin a cat to get that natural result that you really want.
Oh yeah.
It could be sapphire blades. It could be straight blades. It could be needles. It can be DHI. It can be DHT. It can be all these different variations. But you're still making a small cut, slipping in the hair at a certain angle, certain direction, and hoping to God it grows.
Yeah.
And when it does, if you did everything right up to that point, it'll look natural.
Guys, hold on.
Nothing matters leading up to that point. Nothing matters. And I think that, when I think about my career.
I do think the limousine ride is important, though.
That is one of the biggest eye-openers that I had once it hit me. And I was still working for Hassel Long, where the lateral slit technique and flat custom blades and all that stuff, which I still believe in.
Dude, you were so brainwashed. I couldn't believe. I had to try to shake you at times.
It wasn't brainwashed, because what you talking about lateral slit?
I'm not just talking about lateral. I'm talking about the entire. Just you being in that bubble. For a while you were not open to other situations that I would try to tell you. Listen, brother. There's some good stuff happening out there.
Yeah, no, of course. Because, when you think about it, look, I stand on record. Like, everything I said up to a certain point is still true as far as strip and the way things were being done. It's just that things changed because the actual industry was changing.
Yes.
The FUE was improving. Not FUE, but FUE is basically the same as it was 20 years ago. I can't wait to get the emails on that one. The punches are the same, the small variations. They're about the same size. Yeah. In some cases, they're even bigger than they were 20 years ago. Depends on who you're talking to. But it's the same damn thing. Yeah, it's an old technique. There's nothing new. But what has changed, and I actually talked about this in one of the magazine articles recently, how it's not the tools that have changed, it's the understanding of how to use the tools. It's the nuances of how to actually utilize FUE that's changed. That's what's improved.
Sure.
And I started to recognize the merits of FUE. I'll never forget it. It was like 2008. And I started to see a few clinics, after they posted maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 results over the course of a few months. I started to recognize, okay, this isn't a one-off from this place, from this doctor, whoever it was. They actually seem to be putting, I recognize this. And it's like, okay, all right, good. But then other clinics started to do it, and then other clinics. And I remember walking into one of the doctor's offices. And I said, I can't disparage FUE anymore. Not the way I have been, because I don't believe it's right. And from that moment forward, I started to look at things with a different lens. And yeah, and you were talking to me about it too, but it was just the idea. Well, two things happened. FUE started getting better and better, or the practice of FUE was getting better. There were a few doctors that were stepping up and actually able to manifest their claims through actual results. The other thing that was happening, the FUT, I'll say giga session, was not all that in a bag of chips.
Right.
And that's when I started to realize the impact of how not all donor hair is 100% DHT resistant. I'll never forget the term the X factor, the phrase, the X factor in relation to hair restoration came into the vernacular and that, or the jargon. And that was in response to some cases
failing.
We don't know why.
Miserably.
You look at the chart, zero complications, zero abnormalities, everything by the book. Just didn't grow. Like not entirely, but like maybe 50% didn't grow. No explanation. Zero. And was it DHT sensitivity of the follicles? Who knows? A little bit fast of a decimation for a little bit quick on the decimation for it to be a DHT issue, but long term, relatively long term, after a few years, things like that. That's the second thing that made me question not so much FUT, but the value of these big sessions. And that's probably my biggest regret, was being on that bandwagon for those big sessions, which are fantastic when they work. And in the right hands, they do work most of the time. But it's the times that they don't. And that's why I tell people now, it's like, you don't want to be that guy.
And also, you have to, and guys, we'll take your calls in a second, so hold on. What people don't recognize is, I'm sure in larger procedures, with a larger staff, they could rotate the staff to some degree, and I know that's happened in the past.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is that's not common.
No.
And there's a tremendous amount of fatigue just placing grafts that no one really took into account back in the day. So you're dealing with graft. Well,
to be fair, at that clinic, it was taken into account. That's why those big cases. Yeah. Those big cases were in shifts.
Right.
Shift A got things started, and Shift B finished things up.
Yeah, I knew that, and that's why I said. That's why I kind of referred to the rotating staff, but that was unusual. So those who were trying to do these larger sessions in other clinics were really effing
shortcuts.
They were effing a lot of people up.
Yeah.
Graft handling became sloppy. People didn't,
trying to emulate us, actually.
Right.
Trying to emulate us. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's take a phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? Call, you're on the air. You've been on hold for like 5-10 minutes.
Hello? Are you there?
All right. Well, I think that's a metaphor for the program tonight.
I think so. That's good.
All right. Well, good talk, Joe. Good talk. We could have done this alone on the phone.
I know, right? I like in the chat room, Jacob's 12, he goes, clinics are springing up like mushrooms, and On Call says it's so bad today that mushrooms spring up like clinics. That's good.
I do want to reiterate that I really think that it is doing the public a tremendous disservice just pointing to Turkey for the bad outcomes that are happening, the insane amount of walking wounded that we see.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening here in Los Angeles, here in Beverly Hills, it's a travesty. Talk about the new normal of hair transplant surgery. I mean, there are guys that are walking around with what we see or we thought was just something that was coming out from overseas.
Or 1990s.
Yeah, but what these clinics are claiming now is that this is what patients want. And they forget that they're in charge. This is real medicine. This is life-changing, life-altering cosmetic surgery. You know, if someone wanted a boob implant put into their testicles because they wanted huge testicles, would you do it? I mean, there are some guys that would, if it was possible.
That's an analogy it's similar to an analogy I came up with when I was working with one clinic.
Back to Joe.
Where the lead consultant said something that really, I'll never forget. The patient knows what they want when it comes to hairline design. First off, it's like, what does that even mean? The patient knows what they want. Okay, great, but it's wrong. Like, what kind of argument is that? You want to make the patients happy because they're idiots? That's worse than a doctor saying, well, if I don't do it, someone else will.
Well, I'll tell you, the beauty of this industry, though, is, and it doesn't seem to be the case for a lot of the old timers, but young guys who get into it and just do whatever, and if they're able to build a very strong practice where they kind of develop this conveyor belt apparatus, they could be in it for 3 or 4 years and they're set if they do it right. So by the time they have this tsunami of disfigured patients, they're out. All you need for a real, like a turnkey chop shop clinic, you need a strong 5 years.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
3 or 4 surgeries a day, reasonably priced surgeries, especially here in the U.S. 5 years, you're out. Oh, I got a story for you. Talking to Undercover Doc the other day.
Oh, nice.
He was asking me if I knew any hair transplant surgeons who were doing these dick fillers.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently he knows a few. So they're doing they're promoting hair transplants and they're offering dick fillers on the side.
Dick shots.
Now, what's fascinating is we already understand now what these hyaluronic acids, it's hard for me to pronounce.
Hyaluronic.
Yeah, you said it. It's a mouthful. Actually do to your face and actually do to your skin and to your facial structure, and also just the consistent inflammatory effect that it has on your body. Do you know what these guys' tools are going to look like in a couple of years? They are finished. I never forget, I had a urologist that I went to see not too long ago, maybe about 6, 7 years ago. And he was good as far as like a good diagnostician. But all of a sudden, about a year after I had this issue and he helped me out, I'm getting these ads for like dick filler. I'm like, am I on the small dick list now? What's going on here? But I'm thinking to myself, this guy's a urologist. And all these guys, they want to somehow supplement their practices. They want ancillary income. This is easy. They're charging like $4,000 for like, I don't know if it's like you get like 3 repeated shots or something.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of the material is nothing. And they're making money hand over fist because people are idiots.
Yeah. That's when you have a clinic that has multiple offerings, that's their number one goal, is to get these ancillary adjunct procedures that they don't even have to do themselves. Never forget on tape. Got this on tape. This.
I'm sorry, I don't know your personal life. If you got the dick filler, I'm sure it's fine.
It's okay. No, it's no reactions.
Okay.
She's recorded in a seminar where she's talking about the value of one of these vacuum assisted.
I remember her. Jennifer
FUE machines. Yeah. And
from Austin, I think.
She was talking about the value of these things in being able to generate ancillary income while you're doing your own consultations. A technician is doing the surgery, making you an extra $6,000 to $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
And I think her words were, and you don't have to lift a finger to do it.
Yeah. Something like that.
They come in and they do everything for you.
I'm a capitalist. There's nothing wrong with making as much money as you can in this world. But when you are potentially damaging people, and I take particular offense to the urologist who sent me the ads for the dick shots. I'm just saying. No, but really, so how? Listen, I thought he was good at a good diagnostician because the issue that I had was something that someone else wanted me to put me on medication for. But this guy said it sounds like a myofascial issue, like a tense, like basically the muscles in my pelvis. And that's what it was. And it was totally treatable easily without medication,
Mm-hmm.
Smart guy. But how can I go to him again for anything, God forbid, even for PSA or checkup? He's injecting people's tools with filler for a living.
He's sending you ads to do it to you.
Look, maybe I am on the list. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm just curious. It's like with the before and after pics I see, it's like, why would I want to go down in size? What?
Dude, these poor guys look like pigs in blankets after they're done. It doesn't affect the gland. It doesn't affect the gland itself.
Mm-hmm.
It makes everything else it looks like a pig in a blanket.
I wouldn't know what it looks like, so
I'll show you the.
I haven't investigated it, so I can't relate. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'm the one that has the.
You're
problem.
the expert.
I'm the expert. Let's see this. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this? And where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Andy from Ohio, or Drew from Ohio.
Drew from Ohio.
I guess I can go by Andy now. I've been calling for a while.
Hi, not Andy. This is not Andy from Ohio.
Congratulations, by the way. First call of the evening, and it's 4:30.
I know.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's been dragging out, so I was like, I got to give a call. Every time Joe got hot on a topic, I was like, I can't call now. I got to let him go.
Oh, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, and Spencer's like, please call when he's hot on a topic. We need to stop him.
Shut him up.
Jesus.
I'm trying.
So what's up?
No, I saw Jerry Cooley 2 weeks ago. And last time I talked to you guys, I was talking about some thinning that I was concerned about despite being on oral minoxidil and dutasteride. Mm-hmm. And he agrees. He said that, he's basically saying that it's somewhat of a diffuse pattern, so he can't really put me on a Norwood scale. And the instruction was to send me home with trying Elmated and topical dutasteride. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm looking up Elmated. It's like $1,000 a session here in Ohio, and I'm not sure how far off it is from PRP. But my concern is this something that I would have to do, like, forever?
Yes.
I mean, like PRP.
Yes.
But in addition to doing the surgery, and if I do the surgery, it's basically like a stage that you have to always do, otherwise the surgery is going to look messed up.
Well, it's not. Well, first off, Almated is a delivery mechanism. It's a delivery system. You can have Almated for PRP. You can have Almated for exosomes You can have Almated for mesotherapy, like with dutasteride, things like that. It's simply a delivery method. So it's not different from PRP. It's just one way that you can deliver PRP. PRP itself is a method of extracting specific cells, like plasma cells and stem cells. And in many cases, like in the case of Dr. Cooley, mixing it with a cocktail of other ingredients before reapplying it back into your scalp, be it through injections with needles or via Almated as a delivery tool. So using Almated for treatments, what are they going to be treating you with in Ohio?
I'm not 100% sure.
Most of these companies will use the Almated's own peptide serum.
Okay.
And I think it has some copper peptides in it.
Yeah, copper peptides. There they are. Yeah.
Okay.
But to answer your question,
I was kind of looking for
any of these treatments are simply treatments. They are. If you're using it to fight hair loss, then you have to continue to use it to fight hair loss.
The website.
Just like with just like with
Look at this,
medication.
Joe. Almated's website.
What?
The American Hair Loss Association estimated that more than 80 million men and women are suffering from hair loss concerns in the U.S., with men spending nearly $4 billion on hair loss prevention.
There you go.
Wow.
We're the American Hair Loss Association, by the way. Well, I just find it interesting that, listen, I'm glad that these companies are citing, real statistics from the nonprofit. But I have to say, I know a lot of guys who are promoting Almated. I've also known some people who've claimed to have benefits from it. I know that Alan Bauman is a fan, and in his clinic, he seems to be getting some real benefits from it. But I also know it's an expensive procedure, and I'm just not sure if there's significantly more value than just getting on meds and seeing what happens. Did you already answer that, Joe?
No. I simply differentiated, his question. He says Almated or PRP. It can be one and the same because Almated can deliver PRP. The PRP is the extraction of the cells into a specific mixture before it's re-injected back into the scalp.
Most of what Almated does is they're using their own proprietary serum that doctors are using with it. Not a lot of guys are using PRP with it that I'm aware of, but I've known some doctors who have claimed to do that. So I'm not sure what he did in Ohio.
And exosomes, but I can say that Dr. Cooley is a fan of Almated, and I gotta say, if he's a fan of something, I'm generally on board with the same.
Me too. I'm a fan of him. So
he's one of the few, and this isn't any other doctors listening to this that I know personally. Don't take offense at this. It's just I probably don't work with you specifically, so I don't deal with you on a regular basis. Dr. Cooley, I've known him for personally now, to where I'm working with him, well, I guess professionally for 10 years, 11 years now. Wow. And I've learned to trust his judgment on these things. More or less in most cases. So yeah. So I would take his recommendation pretty seriously.
Okay.
I do feel like, well, refresh our memory. Why are you not taking oral dutasteride, finasteride, minoxidil, whatever? What's your situation?
Oh no, I am. I'm using brand name Avodart at 1 milligram. Actually, I'm taking 2 tablets, and then oral minoxidil. I'm taking 5 milligrams.
Okay, and Dr. Cooley recommended you add this approach to your current regimen.
Correct.
So oral dutasteride and topical dutasteride with your oral minoxidil.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's linking my case with mainly genetics being the big downfall here. So he's thinking these follicles are very sensitive to the DHT, and I really haven't had any side effects. Only like maybe if I switch from generic to brand name, I might notice a quick week of some side effects, but they subside pretty quickly if I just ignore it.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. But my concern is, like long term. I mean, obviously, the transplant itself is expensive, and I'll have to figure out how to deal with that. I'm not overly concerned about that, but when you add Almated to that, let's just say I can't keep up with Almated, but I get this surgery. Is this going to look
Of course.
like? Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: are you losing any ground with your current routine?
It just seems to be. It looks like it's maybe slightly receding a little bit and like thinning a little bit.
Did you say you were on low dose oral minoxidil as well?
5 milligrams.
Yeah, 5 milligrams.
5 milligrams.
And I should add topical as well. Like at night, I'm doing like throwing it on a Q-tip and throwing it on the head at night.
Dude's got a stack going on: oral and topical dutasteride, oral and topical minoxidil. Wow.
What if finasteride was actually the answer, and dutasteride just doesn't work for me?
It's possible.
You know what?
I don't want to try it without
It is possible, simply because I was on finasteride, switched to dutasteride, didn't see a lick of difference after 2 years, except I got bloated, and went back to finasteride. No fallout, nothing, like zero impact, except I didn't look fat anymore. So it's very well possible. Like finasteride, it's done wonders for me. Like it did more than just hold me steady. It thickened my crown a little bit after my first surgery, and so it was a nice boost to basically the lower half of my crown and in the fringe areas of my pattern. But yeah, it is possible that dutasteride isn't working as well as maybe finasteride could, because it's not the amount of DHT that's being inhibited, it's the type of DHT and the mechanism. Because finasteride and dutasteride, it's not like they're the exact same medication. One just happens to have a little bit of extra ingredients to deal with type 1 alpha reductase. They do these things differently. They're completely different formulations. So maybe you're more receptive to finasteride as opposed to dutasteride. It's very possible. The challenge is, how do you find out?
Right, and then the thing that made me curious about that was I didn't seem to have any side effects on the dutasteride. So, and somewhere in my mind, I'm thinking like, if I had side effects, that's a sign that it's probably working somewhere.
Yeah,
doing something.
not necessarily, and I know that makes sense, and a lot of people say that
it can be.
Yeah.
It can be like sometimes I've seen a correlation. This isn't across the board. I've seen people that have zero side effects and it works great. Like there's actually an improvement in the hair. But I've seen many cases where patients have come to me after like 3 months and are like, shit, I was having an amazing result, but I was also not able to get it up at all. And they couldn't deal with the issue anymore. They took the path of more loss. And it seemed to me for a while that the ones that were having the strongest side effects were actually having the best results. And that's fallen off a little bit, but I think there is something to it. I think that it's not every patient that has bad side effects is also going to have a great outcome, but I've seen cases where bad side effects and great outcome causing that dichotomy, right? But it doesn't mean it necessarily isn't working because you have no side effects. There's no direct correlation on that. Not a reliable one.
then I'm thinking on the other hand, if I stop the dutasteride because it is kind of known to be the stronger one, and that really is holding up a lot, then that's the downfall of that. So I'll just probably run that by Jerry before I switch, I would guess.
But that's the frightening thing of all of this. It's like I am, to bring it back to me as usual, I am really, really in an emotional struggle on whether or not I should start a low-dose oral minoxidil formulation. Either I'm not going to wait for it to sustain release. There are ways to compound that if I wanted to do that as well. Or just go with a kind of a lower dose of a low dose oral minoxidil and titrate. But I'm struggling with that because here's my reality. My hair's getting worse. It's not going to get better. Right now when it's wet, it's very see-through, the back and the sides. It's not really super noticeable to others. And, but the overall density is definitely waning with age. I know that if I get on this drug and I don't have any adverse effects, there's a very strong chance that I'm going to thicken things up and be able to have a protracted, enjoyment of my hair maybe into my 70s. That's a real possibility. Or I could pussy out. I'm afraid of, a shed or potentially, dealing with the Tillman face like he got from the dutasteride. And
but wouldn't that shed just be temporarily? Wouldn't that be just like
I can't deal with it
because it's working?
Yes, most likely.
But I mean, the long-term effects would be hard to deal with. I would think, but
no, you're absolutely right. I am seriously considering it. Like, I was having a long conversation with my AI about it, and
I'm on like
and
5
other
now.
And other people love
crazy.
me like my AI. What were you saying?
I said I'm at 5 milligrams now. It's crazy. But I draw the line at 5. I don't think they wanted to put me at 10, and I was like, no, I'm okay.
Well, I think first of all, it's great that you're doing well on 5. You have no adverse effects. I mean, you're a good responder to these meds, at least as far as not having any detriment or immediate detriment to your body. You're not dealing with any of the adverse side effects. I mean, who knows? You could be walking around with a moon face for all I know. I don't know.
No, I think I've gotten pretty lucky, but I just I don't overthink the side effects. I just kind of let them do its thing and just see how I feel, and I would titrate it like Joe said if I felt something was off. But yeah, I mean, I don't see what you have to lose. You're surrounded by good people. You got plenty of people that can help you oversee this.
Look, honestly, all I need is Joe and my Jack Daniels, and I'll be okay.
I'm here, brother.
No, well, here's my real struggle, and it's interesting because I've been advising people for 30 years, right? And I started with minoxidil even before it was approved by the FDA. I weaned myself off of it, topical minoxidil, because I felt it was kind of like a Band-Aid. I started to lose ground after a while, and once I got on finasteride, everything just went to gear for me, and I was able to get off of a topical minoxidil without a shed. But it took me a year.
Wow.
But because I've been able to save so much hair, or enough hair to kind of, pull off this sculpture, part of me is like, well, how rapid is it progressing? And it's not that rapid. So do I have another 5 years with being able to pull this off, or another 10 years? Will I be alive, in 5 years? I don't know. So this is all part of the equation. Now, and granted, it's part of the equation of a, let's just say, recovering hypochondriac. I'm kind of recovering. So you sound like a very together, just, balanced dude. You're like, these are the possible side effects. I want to keep my hair. I'm just going to deal with whatever comes my way. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but I just kind of, that's why I just keep bouncing ideas around. And
how old are you now?
I'm curious what you're. I'm going to be 39 next month.
39, okay. I do find it interesting that Well, I don't know if it's interesting, but so what did Jerry say exactly about what he thought Almatet can do for you?
Well, basically, he said in my case, like my hairline is like a little. I haven't seen Joe in person, obviously, but it's like a little lower than his, and I haven't had any surgery done yet. Maybe a little thicker.
Are you saying I have a high hairline? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I can't see like where you're. No, it looks good, man. I think it looks great, but
Thank you.
what are you at like like a 3-4 now or what?
Sorry, 3-4 what?
Are you at like a 3 or 4 now? Norwood?
I'm going to go, Joe. I'm going to let you handle this.
Well, I mean,
No, Spencer, you come back.
considering-
You tell me. I don't even know.
I don't want. Listen to me. First of all, you're not. You definitely don't. You're not a Norwood 4.
I know that.
And I would say that you are honestly. You could be considered like a 2.5 on someone who has a naturally high forehead, which a lot of people do, like me.
And there it is.
You know, everyone somehow thinks that everyone has the same size forehead. I have a naturally high forehead as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that's just the way that it is. Even before I started to lose my hair. Now, it fits my face, I think. And so does Joe's. So I think if Joe's maybe could have been placed slightly lower, but why?
It would have been too risky, I think. I wouldn't.
It's totally risky.
Graph-wise.
First of all, graph-wise, and also just
good.
the shape of his face. It works perfect.
Well, I actually talked to Dr. Wong about this again back in November.
I got out of that one, right?
You did. Good job.
Okay.
Good job. You saved yourself. No, like
Thanks, man.
in my case, the placement of my hairline, it was lowered in 2010 with my last hairline surgery, very slightly. But the reason why it's high is because it was so I could have enough hair for the back and the top, and also the sides, because my temple points have been vastly reconstructed as well. Like they were really receded. So yeah, we easily could have started with a lower hairline.
But then you got to bring out the temporals more. I mean, to me, it's really perfectly placed. I can't even imagine you need a lower hairline.
And that's the thing. I was actually talking about this with a patient the other day, how he's like, I really wish I could have just lowered the hairline just a couple of more millimeters. And I said, okay, so you say just a couple more millimeters. Like I can't count how many times I've heard that phrase, just a couple of more. Just a this. No. It's more than that, because when you lower it, you also have to bring the sides forward. It's all about a relative. It's all relativity as far a balance, or a relative balance to the top and the sides. And so if I were to lower my hairline, like a noticeable lowering of my hairline would be about 1,500 grafts, maybe 1,000 depending. But then the sides would also have to have a few hundred grafts each to compensate for the front being low and then the sides being too far back. They'd have to be brought forward. So honestly, if there was like 1,200 to 1,500 grafts to lower my hairline, I'd need another 1,000 grafts just to bring the sides forward, 500 on each side.
And I actually think at your point in life it would look odd.
Right.
I mean, it really works well for you. I mean, it wouldn't really improve your looks.
Well, it's kind of hard to improve on perfection. So,
all right, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Spence, he said that the hairline, he can't really, it is what it is. Like it's probably somewhere between a 3 and a 4. So maybe not as far back as a 4, but he's more concerned about that diffuse look that's going on with it. Like there's some really good spots, and then there's like.
So wait a second, you're telling me that your hairline is lower than Joe's, and you're saying that you're a 3 or a 4.
Well, I guess I couldn't see Joe, so now he's saying he's more like a 2.
No, he's not. He's not really a 2. He looks like he has a naturally high hairline, where he could be like kind of like a 2, 3, or merging into a 3, but with a naturally high hairline.
I would say I'm somewhere in there.
The
You know?
the
From what
real
I've-
the
what
real
I've seen.
tell on a Norwood 3 is a really high temple peaks,
Yes.
like really
And
deep
his
temple
isn't-
recession.
His isn't that deep.
Yeah, I mean, I do have some tempo recession, but mostly it's just like this unbalanced look with the diffuse areas. So right now,
Yeah.
I'm using like a pomade with fiber in it, and I blow dry some, I don't know, like gel with volumizer, and it gives that effect that there's balanced volume. But without that, it don't, you know, it's sad because it's like there's a lot of hair there, but it doesn't look balanced.
Dude,
And I don't know
it
if
looks
they
like
can
it looks
because-
like I'm balancing my hair. You know, I have to figure this out myself, man. You know, I have the
Yeah.
high temple hair, and I just kind of like throw it over a little bit, put some hairspray on. And, you know, it works. But don't want to jinx myself. But if I wanted to lower things down a little bit, I probably wouldn't have to use hair in my temple peaks. So that's a good sign. That's a good thing. Because those are pretty strong so far.
It's one of those things like I don't know because they can't go in those areas that are thin too much because you get risky in the shock loss, right? So I don't know.
You do,
if you
but
fix
but
the
that's
hairline, would it balance it?
Will the hairline balance what?
Like if you straightened out the hairline a little bit better than what it was, like some of that recession, would you notice some of the thinning areas as much?
Well, it's a good question, but it's impossible to answer because we don't see you. We don't know what you're actually talking about as far as, you know, these details. But I will tell you this: having dealt with countless diffuse cases myself, where the hairline itself is the starting point of the diffusion throughout the top of the scalp, that can make a big difference just because there's less see-through to the areas behind it, and that creates, when you have a stronger hairline, it creates the illusion of lowering the hairline as well. That density makes it look like it's lower than it actually is, because you can't see through it as much. But there is an argument to doing just the front, not just the hairline, but moving into the frontal third on diffuse cases, knowing that, and this is purely for the comfort level of the patient, where they don't see the back, they don't see the top. It doesn't bother them that much because it doesn't show up in the mirror when they're looking at themselves. It's when the front is seen in the mirror, that's what gives them their anxieties or their troubles about their hair loss. So it depends on your threshold, man. Like if you're one of those guys where it's like, yeah, I can't see it, but I know it's there, then yeah, that's a different thing. But if you're one of those guys, it's like, yeah, I look in the mirror and it bugs me. I don't care about the back so much because I don't see it. That's a whole different ballgame, and that's much better actually. But in your case, you know, you're talking about the diffuse nature of your hair loss. Well, that's why your head's shaved. That's the reason why good doctors, I mean, there are some good doctors that don't, but that's why you see doctors shaving the head when there's a lot of hair, because it allows them to do two things. Number one, it matches the angle and direction, allows them to match the angle and direction of your existing hair from the exit point in the scalp. And by extension of that, because they're matching that angle and direction, they're less likely to transect any of that native hair because they're matching the angle and direction of the native hair. They're not crossing over and transecting any of it because of that, right? So when all that grows out, then the new hair grows in that same direction and angle as the native hair, and it just adds to the overall net effect of the hair that you have. And usually it's a success. There could be more shock loss simply because there's more hair affected by the disruption of blood flow, things like this. But in the end, when it's done right, they're awesome results, because the best cases to have the appearance of a full head of hair are the ones that haven't lost a lot of hair to begin with, the diffuse cases.
Okay. And let me ask you this: if you were in my position and you were considering doing this, I'm not. I know you guys can't tell me what to do medically, but if it were you, would you lean more towards FUE or FUT if you had slight hair loss that you were trying to balance that way, but you had this diffuse going on?
No, knowing what I know and what I've been through, being 39 years old, and having a pattern of diffuse, like I know Dr. Cooley said he couldn't give you a classification, but when you look down on top of the scalp of someone with diffuse loss, if it's enough to address by surgery, you can usually see the eventual pattern. It doesn't mean you're losing in that pattern, but you can see the actual future pattern of loss if you were to continue. Depending on your hairstyles and what you do, with your haircuts, I stand on record. I still think that at least one good strip, get it knocked out, like with a doctor that's proven, that has a high probability, no guarantees, but high probability of a good donor scar, placed high enough to where if you do want to do like the high and tight buzz cuts, then the hair is still long enough to cover it in that area. I like strip. FUE is amazing in the right hands, but I feel like if there's potential for long-term loss with multiple surgeries, I mean, there's always potential for multiple surgeries, but to really get that full potential of your donor area, I'll put it like this. If I had everything to do over again, I wouldn't change a thing with how I did it.
Okay. That's a pretty strong statement then. Yeah. I was kind of just bouncing between, him and Aaron from Miami, just like trying to, see which way out. Because I do get people that do compliment me and they say, Andy, I don't know like what you're talking about. I see what I see in the mirror, but they don't. And they say, they don't notice it, as much as I do. And I'm like, do I really want to take a risk if most people don't notice and make it worse? Or do I want to just maybe take a light FUE and call it a day?
And ultimately, there is no such thing as a light FUE. Surgery, man. If it's 500 grafts versus 5,000 grafts, you're still taking a risk, because a 500 graft patch of no growth, or just generally speaking, not talking about these particular clinics, but a bad result's a bad result.
Necrosis is necrosis. Taking a chance at having surgery.
You're going to feel like shit regardless. So, based
toxicity,
on what you just told me,
it's all possible.
Based on what you just said, I'm of the mind that surgery is just not a good idea right now. If you're questioning it like that, and people are saying, I really don't even see what you're talking about. If you're saying, well, maybe I'll just get a light FUE just to top it up a little bit, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
I mean, how terrible would you feel if you effed yourself up? No fault of any physician. You could pick the best doctors who think you might make a reasonable candidate, but if you really don't need it, if you could walk outside and are you single? Are you married? What's your story?
Yeah.
You're single.
No, I'm single.
Okay. But
I'm like trying to figure out like how I can make it easier on myself to get ready, on a day-to-day, because that's been kind of, draining. I think people see me in the finished result. They see me
too.
After everything's
I look ridiculous.
Done, and
otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm mortified at times. I once took my hat off and I was doing some testing with Joe, and Joe just stopped talking. He didn't even know how to handle it, and he's in the industry.
What?
Talking about my hair when it's not done, when I don't do the sculpture.
Oh yeah.
So FUT then.
Go right for FUT, brother. Now,
if you say you did an FUE and you're like, let's just see what happens. I don't want to risk the scar. It's bad. I know there's scar. I get it. But if I did that, could you go back and do an FUT or not?
You can. It's
You
always
can.
it's always best to work on a virgin scalp with FUT, but it could be done, and people get good results and very small linear scars. But is it possible that you wasted a few grafts along the way, or even a few hundred? Possibly. I mean, we don't. When you remove grafts using a cylinder or a punch, you can cause damage to adjacent hairs, just the way that it is. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, especially in really skilled hands, but it's always a possibility.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the input and feedback on that. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen too with the topical dutasteride. I want to see, because maybe systemic's not enough in my case. Maybe I might notice the balance might happen in the thickness with that.
You may notice a lot. You have no idea. So if you're getting on adding different, when did you add it, or you haven't?
I just ordered it. Is it Oxon or
Zion?
Like a Zion. That's it. Yeah. So I'm getting that like a week, I think, or a couple days. It should be here.
I mean, that may do the trick. And a year from now, you can be like, shh, that's all I needed. I don't need to have surgery.
Yeah, I'd like that better. Okay.
And you could also, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a physician, but even though it was suggested to you, you could hold off on the Alma. See, I would see how I did on the topical dutasteride first. Give that a try before you start throwing even more of a kitchen sink approach at it.
Well, that's an absolute. Don't do both at the same time. Like if you're going to start the topical dutasteride, give that 6 months minimum before you decide to add anything else. I'd say a year before you do, so you know what's working. You know if this which change has actually made a positive or negative effect.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
I will do that. And I will reach out to you guys in 6 or 8 months, let you know how it's going.
We may not be on the air, but I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Email.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
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 I want to have some fun here. Now, I appreciate the one call. I really do. And I'm glad we were able to, it's important to give people access so they have some reasonable advice and they can bounce things off us. But if it's just me talking to Joe, it's not fun unless we're drunk.
It's not fun for me.
I know.
No
I can see you struggling.
What I'm struggling with is my wife made a fat lunch, and I'm like, I got post-lunch, the post-lunch nods.
No, I'm not saying that you're doing it. I mean, you're doing the best that you can given the circumstances. What are we going to talk about?
Given the talents that God gave you, you're doing the best that you can. Thanks.
Yeah. Listen,
thanks.
What are you going to talk about? Am I going to go in there and I'm going to dig up stuff to talk about like every other, in quotes, influencer, just to get clicks and to get people? I don't want to do that. What I want to do is just answer people's questions. That's it. We're in a position where we can answer people's questions. No one else will. No one else. I don't care who they are.
Well, that's the thing. It's
Maybe
like no one else does this.
No one else does this, but in general, no one's going to tell you the truth anyway. Through video.
Except one other guy.
Yeah. One or two other guys.
We're going to hear it now.
one or two other guys.
Yeah. A few guys.
Yeah.
We'll be safe. Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone else is bullshitting you. That's just the truth. What do you want me to do? I've been doing this for so long. Even the guys that you think aren't going to bullshit you, or that I think aren't going to bullshit people, end up bullshitting people. You know what happens?
Yeah.
They need to make money. I understand it. It's not easy to make a living in this world. And it's super easy to make a living off all you suckers.
Oh, yeah. Fake it till you make it.
It is.
That's the phrase of the day. fake it till you make it, because some people are faking it a lot.
I tell Joe. Joe's like, "Did you get a haircut?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, That's how I started the day.
I didn't even say that. I just said, "Did you get a haircut?" And you're like, "Uh-huh." I was like,
Yeah. Okay.
just zero response. By design, and it worked.
It did. It's still bothering me. I'm going to go out and get loaded because of you. Okay, guys, listen.
It's such a messed up way to answer that question.
We're gonna call it a night. Maybe we'll figure out a different way to do this show. I don't know. I'm really getting to that point, Joe. To be honest with you. Oh, now the phone rings. Motherfuckers, man. All you guys.
You want to take it?
I'll take it. Let's see if they hold on long enough to say hello.
Hello?
Hey, you're on the air.
Joe, Spencer, how are you doing? James, Silicon Valley.
James, what's happening?
Hey,
brother?
James. How's it going?
Just wanted to get an update on Joe's oral minoxidil continuation or discontinuation. Did I miss something?
I stopped. Yeah, I stopped. I was having... I don't... What were the side effects? Spencer, what was I bitching about?
You had
rash on your face.
Eyelids that were peeling.
Oh, yeah.
But you also had an active gas leak in your house.
There was that.
I hear some feedback in my headset.
Yeah, I was gonna say me too. James, can you? Do you have us on speakerphone or something?
No. I'll have to turn the program off. I pause it.
Oh, there you go.
Is that better?
No, I'm getting feedback.
Is that better?
Test 1, test 2.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, that's good. Anyway,
sorry. No, the only symptom I heard that you had was the peeling of the eyelids, and then there was something else I can't remember. I apologize.
He had a he had a rash in his beard line.
It sounds so fucked up to hear that. Yeah, well, Joe Tillman. Yeah, so his eyelids were peeling off, and
yeah, but you also had an active gas leak that was making the entire family sick.
Well, that's normal anyway. That wasn't from the minoxidil. No, I weaned myself off of it. Because of that, I don't like the idea of eyelids peeling off. It was an experiment. I tried it. I might try it again. We'll see.
Will you try the Baramedics, even though it's a higher dose at 8.5 twice a day? Or would you consider that or no?
I will never do anything twice a day. I'm too lazy. I know myself.
And we don't even know when it's actually going to be approved anyway.
And we don't know how it's actually
going to be approved.
No, it'll be approved, but we don't know how it's going to actually fare in the real world. Like having trials and outcomes, stuff like that. That's one thing, but real world usage and feedback from people who have been using it in all walks of life. That's a completely different animal, and I would definitely wait for anything like that. I'm interested in it for sure, but at the same time, it's like if I'm going to take something twice a day, why not just take my own time release I can have compounded myself? Or I know maybe take the minoxidil I have now, cut it into 2 or 3 pieces, and take it throughout the day. Like there are different ways to do it. There's more. You're still
going to have smaller spikes when you do it that way because the sustained release is essentially is kind of a gel that's developed, kind of like the topical stuff that Hassan put together, Zion.
Yeah.
But it's still possible to mitigate some side effects, I believe, if you took smaller doses throughout the day, even though you're still going to have those serum spikes. So, But yeah, I'm considering it, by the way, if anyone's interested.
But bottom line is I may reconsider its use, if anything, for just an experiment to see if I have the same side effects. If I don't, then I'll push through. and see if I get any sort of benefit from it. If I do get the same side effects, then I know, and I will report back. I will give an update on it.
How long were you on it again?
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I was on it for 3 or 4 months.
6
I think
months.
4 months.
So it's interesting. So
No, it wasn't 6.
It didn't trigger any type of effluvium for you.
None.
That's pretty amazing.
None. If anything, my hair now is better than it's been. My hair right now is great. I love how my hair is. I got a great
your
barber.
hair looks good. That's why I'm calling. I threw on saw you guys on YouTube Live and said, you know what, he's having a good hair day. What's going on? Is he still on Hormone? I said, no.
I'm having a good hair day every day lately. Even my wife is telling me, he's like,
you never had any headaches, Joe?
I may have had a couple. What I did have a couple of situations where I was feeling a bit anxious.
That's right. Yeah.
Just to walking the dog in the morning. After a cup of coffee with my wife, we walk every morning, at least a couple of kilometers, and feeling anxious, and even a little bit, not so much tight in the chest, but I could feel a little different in my chest, maybe a little bit of tightness, pressure.
Did you try walking the dog without your wife?
No, actually, I didn't.
So how do you know?
That's good. But
it seems like the Paramedics, the trials with the Paramedics product, this time-released oral minoxidil, it's still giving headaches to the patients as well. And that was my biggest issue. I took one dose and just had a massive headache, insomnia. It was it was horrible,
really?
Right? But
wow.
a little disappointed. I'm 58 years old, so maybe it's my age, but I don't drink, smoke, work out, watch my diet.
Well,
I just noticed an immediate difference. That's the problem. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not everything works for everyone.
You were talking about this Zion product, this topical dutasteride. And the question I had on that, Kevin Mann just put out a pretty good video on topical not crossing the blood-brain barrier. So. Mm-hmm. Is that Zion product effective, or is that a consideration that if it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier, it's not suppressing any DHT?
I'll tell you my personal experience with Zion. Before Zion was even Zion, 16 years ago, I was sitting in Dr. Hassan's office, and we were talking about, like, he was talking to me about this idea of creating a topical finasteride, and working with Mauro. What was his last name? I forgot his last name. This chemist in Italy who'd come up with his version of a time release, a topical time release. They worked together for quite a while. And even before they started working together, there was a local pharmacist that Dr. Hassan was working with that I know quite well, actually. And there were local experiments. I don't want to say trials because they're not trials, but prescribing this for patients that were local and monitoring their progress. And a lot of these patients were having a really good result with the early version of or pre-Zion, and reporting no side effects. Now,
but this was in finasteride form, not dutasteride form, which does not have the ability. Okay.
Well, and the challenge with dutasteride was the molecule size not being able to
exactly.
However, it's showing not to be the case because it's a product that exists and people are having good results with it. It's just a fact. So somehow it's making it through. So all respect to Kevin Mann, I don't know what he's saying about it. I didn't watch it. I don't know what his thoughts are on it. I have zero clue. I'm just basing on what you told me.
Oh, just a new study came out. New study came out recently. His video came out maybe 2 hours ago. So when you get a chance after the show, maybe listen to it. It's pretty short, interesting. All fact based. So I don't know why if you're going to take topical dutasteride and it's going to get into your bloodstream, why not just take a controlled 0.5 milligram Avodart? What's the difference, right?
Well, but that's what I was going with the finasteride is that. Well, I'll put it like this: it doesn't matter what product it is, anything that absorbs into your skin, with the idea that it's going to do something beneficial for you. There's no way for it not to go systemic at least a little bit. It just does.
Absolutely.
It just does. The exceptions might be, moisturizer. That's it.
I don't see the point in topicals, to be honest with you guys. I don't see the point in topicals with finasteride or dutasteride. I really don't get it.
I do only because I know patients that have been taking the oral. Side effects were too much for them to handle. They switched to topical. Maybe the effect positive isn't as strong, but the side effects are also lessened to where they have a better balance to their treatment options.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
But couldn't that have also been just really titrated orally as well?
Sure, but who's got the patience for that? I don't.
It's a lot easier to titrate a pill than it is.
I would think
to rub something on
titrating
your
orally would be a lot easier than trying to figure out what dose to put on top of your head. I mean, talk about inconvenient.
Jinx. I just said that. That's exactly how I feel about it. I did a reel on this not too long ago that back in 97, they had already, a paper was already published on topical finasteride. And the reality is they were seeing adverse side effects, and they were lessened. But we knew even back then that titrating oral finasteride would do the trick. So what's the point of using a topical? Now, there was the resurgence with post-finasteride syndrome and everything that's really occurred over the last, I'd say, 10 to 15 years about, kind of the online hysteria. So, this is a very entrepreneurial field, and I certainly understand why these topicals were formulated.
So, Spencer, are you waiting for time released, or are you going to go just generic, normal?
I don't think it's going to be approved for at least, I would say, maybe 2 years. I don't know if you have any news that I don't have, but from everything that I've been able to decipher and from the information that comes across my desk, if it is approved, and it should be, it looks like it's on the track.
What's been your biggest contributor to considering the drug sooner than later? Is it Joe's response? Joe's quality?
Yeah, I don't mind any of my eyelids peeling and having a facial rash. I have to deal with that. Now,
exfoliation.
We noticed
exfoliation. It'd be a spa treatment.
That's true. My reason for wanting to not wait is I don't know how much time I have left to wait. I have been teetering kind of like in a position where I can still make my hair look pretty good, but the nape has gotten thinner. I just had a haircut. I had to have them cut it pretty short back there. There's a lot of hair that's miniaturized in the nape that can still be kind of recouped if I do well on this medication.
I have not heard of oral minoxidil benefiting retrograde. I just haven't heard that. Would it target that, or does it make a difference?
It doesn't make a difference. You're not dealing with hormone related necessarily. You're not dealing with DHT related hair loss. So essentially, this is a vasodilator. It increases. It's a growth stimulator. So if you have miniaturized hair anywhere for any type of hair loss except for scarring alopecias, it could possibly stimulate hair growth. So, yeah, I mean, and retrograde in general is usually a part.
You don't have the you don't have the option like Joe to get Lonitin, the name brand, being that you're in the States, right?
It would be difficult. I probably can figure it out, but it would be difficult. You know, I mean,
So you're gonna. So
Joe would
if
have
you
no
do consider
problem,
it,
you know, being my
you
mule.
will take an attempt to get Lonitin. Then you'll take an attempt.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make Joe my mule. It's not a big deal. He'll figure it out.
There you go.
But yeah,
Good point.
I mean, we know that it's a great growth stimulant for all types of alopecia. So yeah, and retrograde is actually in general, it could be a kind of like an endpoint to, or an ending point to, you know, common male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
So it's pretty common.
Now, is oral minoxidil? I mean, does it have a lifespan? Right? Is it just prolonging your hair cycles?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got 20 hair cycles left in your life, is it just going to give you longer 20-year hair cycles? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So essentially, you have a protracted hair cycle. So as your hair miniaturizes, the hair cycle is essentially getting shorter and shorter. So if you can reverse that miniaturization, stimulate that, that gives you another. That can give you another 3 to 5 years.
It's not giving you more hair cycles. It's giving you longer, thicker.
Right. And as a matter of fact,
Hair
you may
cycles that
be
you have
left, losing
right?
a hair cycle or two when you get on this drug.
Because of the dread shed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're over the anxiety of the dread shed, I'm assuming.
No, I'm not. Not even close. Not even close to being over the anxiety of the dread shed.
But that's always been your main hesitant, right? That's been your main.
Right. I'd probably end up taking both low-dose oral minoxidil and occasional propanol for my panic. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's a new. What is that? It's just anti-anxiety drug.
That's a beta blocker.
Okay.
But actually, long-term use of beta blockers can actually cause you to lose your hair, so I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of either shit or get off the pot at some point. I'm going to give myself about another 60 to 90 days of observing the situation, monitoring everything as closely as possible, and during that time also get into like really, tight diet. You know, I want to avoid any type of fluid shifts. Obviously, periorbital edema and other types of edema, especially around the heart. So to me,
that's my biggest issue is that.
Yeah. There's a possibility of mitigating it. You know, it really depends. I'm very sensitive to fluid shifts. So I'm a guy who, if I go out drinking or if I eat too much pizza, I'm bloated. I've been, some people don't respond to that like as, or maybe they do, but I notice it more. But you could see it up and down in my videos, go ahead.
Did I hear that correctly, though? Didn't you quit drinking?
I didn't quit completely, but I haven't had a drink in a very long time. But I'm not going to say never, I mean, if Joe quits the show, I'm going to go out and get loaded.
Yeah.
And just so you know,
I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to say, though, Spencer. I think it's fair to say that it looked like Joe's hair looked better. 3-4 months into oral minoxidil.
Yeah, and his eyebrows
am I just
too.
mistaken? Okay. So you noticed a positive on that front, correct?
Me personally, notice Joe?
No,
I did.
Yeah, I mean, I
thought it looked better.
Here's the thing. I think in general, Joe's hair looks unusually good for someone who's been through what he's been through. And what's surprising, it looks even better in person. Like the camera doesn't do Joe justice. Actually, in a lot of ways. You're
better hairstylist, too.
You're less photogenic.
Better
you're less videogenic than you are the way you look in person. You look fine on camera, but you look better, hair, everything in person. Which is a compliment.
I look fantastic on magazine covers, which everyone's been seeing a lot of lately. Like
That's true.
There is no disputing now that I look great on a magazine cover because there's so many of them.
The best.
No, it looked good. Looked good. Well deserved recognition, Joe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, you guys, you answered my question.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Really appreciate it. Always a good show.
I'll let you know if I start. I'll let everyone know if I start oral minoxidil. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just start it, and then all of a sudden, I'll do a video. I won't have a bald spot anymore. Who knows? Or I'll be completely bald.
Well, I don't know.
I'll come on the air looking like
Maybe-
Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
I prefer Kane from
maybe
Kung Fu.
come out of the closet 3 months in. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of people, hopping on it because you're hopping on it, and then you never know what's going to happen, right? But
That's exactly that's exactly it. And as you know, you've asked me this before. I was considering another vasodilator, which I just don't think is going to give me the results that I want.
hey, compliments on your memory. That's amazing. Over 60 years old, and you remember that.
I'm going to be 61. I'm going to be 60
Well
this
over
week.
60
No,
years
but the
old.
fact, remember that was 6 months ago that I get that out of you. What you were gonna, what you were.
Dude, I keep
considering.
a file on all you mother effers. Trust me, it's all in here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, brother. Good hearing from you.
Enjoy your
All
weekend,
right,
guys.
take care. You too. Bye bye.
Take care, James. Bye.
Bye.
I was going to say, you said, James interrupted me, so I couldn't get this one out, but you said the moment Joe quits the show, you're going to go out and get ripped. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, because you called me 3 times this week, asked me why I quit the show.
You quit the show?
Why isn't it working? Oh, there we go. There we go.
I didn't even know you quit the show. No,
Well, that's just it.
No wonder it's so boring tonight.
You're looking for the excuse. Anyway, okay, the joke's lost now. It doesn't matter. So
I don't even know what you're talking. Dude, I make believe I know what you're talking
Neither do
about
I.
half the time. Now listen. If I didn't love you and doing this broadcast with you, there's no way I'd be sitting in this chair right now. It wouldn't.
Going fishing.
Happen. Yeah, no, it just
I
would
appreciate that.
not happen. I don't care what they say. I'm keeping you. I'm keeping you as the co-host.
I don't care what anyone says. You're a great co-host.
Yeah. Screw everybody. I don't care what they say. We're keeping Tillman.
And when I say everyone, I mean everyone's
Everyone.
opinion. Screw them all. Every last one of them. There's so many. Just kidding.
I hate people.
Thank you.
That's not true.
Yeah, they suck.
Some people suck. Some people. How's Dave Anderson doing? I haven't heard from him in a while. What's going on?
He's doing great. He's been. I won't say why because he hasn't talked about it publicly, but there was a little celebration going on in the family. So he and the spousal unit have been on holiday. I won't say where, but
That's
they've
great.
been enjoying some sunshine. Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. He'll be back home tomorrow.
He deserves it. Good man. I have to arrange a Bald Truth UK with him. He was really, I got to say, really comfortable to talk to on camera. Again,
He's good on camera.
Nothing against you. I'm not making a comparison. Don't get all
No.
wild-eyed.
I want him to do well on camera because it'll take pressure off me.
No,
Like someone else can actually.
He's a natural. He really is. I have to tell you, that kid Tom is a natural too. He has a different way about. Obviously, listen, we're old people. He's a young guy.
He's very relaxed. Yeah, he's a young guy. He's very relaxed.
Yeah, very natural.
He doesn't seem to be nervous on camera
He's not nervous at all.
in live situations.
No, he is.
But
He's really good.
When you look as good as he does, what do you have to be worried about? The kid's a model.
That's true.
Like he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
It's like if I look like that, what kind of problems would I have?
You're getting weird on me, brother. That's getting weird. You're crossing the line
Hey.
now.
No homo. I'm confident. I can say that shit. He's a good-looking kid.
Let's take a call.
Do
Last
I have
one.
to? All right, fine.
We'll do 5 minutes. Hey, you're on the air. Last call of the night.
Good morning, Joe and Spence. How are you? It's Graham. How are you?
Graham,
Oh,
what's
hey,
happening?
Graham. Okay, you're worth talking to. How's it going,
How
buddy?
could I not ring? Yeah, how could I not ring him when you were talking about oral minoxidil? And one thing, is a side effect that I think I might get from oral minoxidil, if I take that on an empty stomach and give it 3 hours later, I'll have a huge headache. But in saying that, in saying what I'm saying, Most of my headaches will only happen on a weekend. So my body's a bit out of sync from getting up in the morning, having breakfast and fluids and a cup of tea and coffee and all that sort of stuff. So it might be just dehydration. So I'm not 100% sure, but
why do you take it on an empty stomach?
Oh, well, your show is probably the biggest reason because when the show comes on here, it's like 8 in the morning, and if I've got to sleep in, I'll wake up around, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, have my tablets as usual and go back to bed. And then a few hours later, I'll end up with a stunner of a headache, migraine.
So are you sure you don't get a headache just because you're watching the show on the weekends?
Well, that's definitely possible with the delay. There's
I wasn't
a big
going
chance
there.
of that.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready for surgery in July, right?
Yeah, in July, in middle July. So I'll give you another call right before that. But of course, I'm going through the bit of an anxiety stage at the moment. But I'm all right. I'm still holding in there all right, sort of thing.
I don't know much about your
time
surgeon, but from what I've seen and from what you've told me, I'm pretty sure that you're going to come away with a good procedure. But what's interesting about your case, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you're not doing any hairline work.
Yep.
You just want to do crown work.
Yeah, I'm doing the opposite to what everyone else wants to do. So because I've got again, with the oral minoxidil and the finasteride, even though my hairlines, it's great to talk about high hairlines because so many people are obsessed with bringing that hairline down 2 or 3 mil. My attitude is, I'm going to do the crown. I can't see the crown, which is funny, but I could see it when it's on every security camera when I walk around in the shopping centres. But I want to do the back, see how the back goes, and then say in 2 years if I decide to do a little bit of work on the front, I'll do it. But apart from that, that's the avenue I want to go. Is it the right way to go? I know a lot of people don't get pop. I've always thought about hair loss as in you've got to do what Adrian did. Do it all or don't do it at all.
Well, when you look at yourself in the mirror now with your minoxidil growth, if you're happy with the way that your face is framed, and your main concern is you want to add some density into your crown, to your bald spot, at your age, I mean, that's your choice at this point. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I can't tell you. Personally, for me, it's all about facial framing. But if you're already happy with your facial framing, then I'm sure Joe agrees. It's probably a good decision.
Well, I do because you basically rebuilt most of the front, and the only, for lack of a better, gaping hole in your program is the crown. So I can see the end game on this, where you get that crown, moderately filled in, you're done. You're done because you have a hairline, you have a framing to your face. It's not a low hairline, it's not a strong hairline, but that's the thing. I remember having patients coming in, being full blown Norwoods, and they'd still have a strong forelock, just maybe a 1.5 inch radius of hair, but with decent density, growing like some sort of little cartoon character. And that changed everything. You shave that off, it's night and day, just that little thing. So with what you have going on, you have a intact hairline that is consistent. It's just high up on your head. Your face is framed. You get that crown addressed, you could easily walk away, assuming medications hold, and not have a need for anything else.
How old are you now, Graham? 54?
I'm 53 now.
53. Jesus
53.
Christ. All you guys are getting so old.
I know. I agree.
I'm just kidding. Dude, 53.
Wow.
When I think about when I was 53, I thought I was like, wow, I'm 53. You don't realize how young 53 is until you're 61. I'm
looking forward to it.
Dude, I'm just saying, embrace it. It's a good time in your life, man.
Yeah.
Early 50s, the best. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's what it was like.
You're so full of shit. The early 40s are the best. You still have some health and some physicality. That's the best.
I had no
early 50s suck.
Early 50s for me, health wise, knock on wood, except for one or two, problems, nothing major. I mean, could have been, but really good. Now, with the full body tendinopathy, it's just like, all right.
I was actually looking at some old photos of the show from about 10 years ago, or earlier than that, actually. You were in your mid 40s, I think. It was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And you look jacked. You were tanned. You had big arms. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's this guy?
That was me.
The 40s is the best. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you want to wear a short sleeve shirt on the next show for you? Does that make you feel better?
Was that what? I have no desire for that. Was it a contest? Want to do some push-ups?
I can't do them. I have to do like assisted stuff now until my tendons heal.
Sorry, Graham. What were you saying?
Hitting my 50s, the eyesight's the one that's just killer. Anyone who hasn't got glasses and over 50 is kidding themselves. Don't.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing of really notice of getting older.
I don't have glasses.
Losing and getting, you're bloody lucky, I tell you. They're a pain in the ass. Apart from
I
that,
had glasses
and you can see
contacts, and then I had eye surgery to where my eyes went like better than 20/20, and now I'm back to glasses just for reading, but I'm back to glasses. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a candidate. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a candidate to get the laser surgery. I had a look at it. I'd love to get it, but I'm not a candidate, so it is what it is. But
it is. Yeah.
Apart from that, it's just where the years go. I don't know now. Like in talking to younger people, I still feel 20, but I'm not. And I know I'm not.
Yeah.
And I think I'm happy. Like as long as I'm healthy and happy to be alive, that's really all it counts. Even though everything on Instagram and Facebook is thrown in your face to look youthful. For me, it's not. I'm not worried about a bit of grey. It's just something that hair loss struck me, as Spencer knows, so young, right when I started playing guitar, right when everyone was having the long hair and doing all the hair moves on stage, and I thought, what else can go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of haunted my life in a sense, even though I've lived a good life. That paranoia of, I've got to have a good hair day every day and all that. That's the side that I hated that hair loss brought to me, And as you guys know, when you're going into the nightclubs when you're a young guy and you want everything in your favour, and all of a sudden you're looking at other people's hairlines thinking to yourself, why is their hair perfect? They're roughly the same age and I'm losing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was devastating for me. So,
devastating for all of us, man. It's a cancer of the spirit. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I said that
is.
30-some-odd years ago, and I got a lot of flack from the mainstream media and from even some physicians over the years. But that's what it is. I wouldn't be able to do what I do for 30 years if this didn't really profoundly affect the lives of people who are dealing with it. The industry wouldn't be a multi-billion-dollar industry if it wasn't a real disease of the spirit.
Yeah.
People wouldn't be able to be taken advantage of it, these vulnerable people, and being sold snake oil and all the stuff that we see online.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sucks, man.
There
I'm still dealing with it.
There must be. I think even with people that I see losing their hair at work or young guys, I don't say anything for the reason that I don't want to put that negativity into someone's head. I think, Joe, you told the story when you were standing, was it the cafeteria at school? Someone was going through and picked out, oh, you're going to go bald. And I don't want to do that to someone and trigger their fear if they didn't have it. That's how sensitive I was to hair loss because I never forget when I went around a friend's house and his girlfriend came to the door and said, "Have you got a haircut?" And my friend goes, "No, he's going bald." You know, it was like, you fucking asshole. You know, it knocks you for six. You know, it's the worst feeling.
A similar situation with a kid that I grew up with who I barely speak to now. And he was a bouncer at a bar. Some girls chatting me up at the bar. I'm hanging out there with him, and and I guess he was upset that he wasn't getting the attention. And he actually said, "Why are you talking to him? He's going to be bald in a year." That's what he said. This is a guy I grew up with. He came to my bar mitzvah. This kid.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just, and you still remember it, and you're over 60.
Yeah, of course I still remember. You think that shit is filed away, bro? That is filed away.
It does.
I'm just like, all right.
So
no hair for you, motherfucker.
No hair for you. Yeah.
And listening to your shows over probably 8 years now, at least 8 years. More, mate, it might even be. I think to myself, I've got enough information I know the negatives, I know the positives. I'm just going to do it because it's something I want to do for me. It's sort of like what Morty did. I know you can bring Morty into it. I understand where he came from too, you know. But for me, it's just let's give it a go. I think I'm positive I'll get a decent result with Dr. Prima, but thickness-wise, I'm thinking, even in my head now, I'm thinking maybe I'll only get 70% cover on that crown. I don't know. I'm saying that because
the thing that matters most, the thing that matters most is let's look at one of the bad scenarios. What if it doesn't grow? What if
that's all right.
30% growth? It's still okay because I mean it sucks.
That, yes,
but at least it won't look unnatural. At least the placement of the hairs.
Yes.
Assuming like I've seen her work, the hairs that will be growing will still be growing the right angle, the right direction, and they won't be these giant multi-hair grafts that shouldn't be there. It'll still look natural, just be naturally thinner than you want it to be. So that's what a lot of people fail to recognize if they don't have the outcome.
Yes.
It's interesting. That's actually one of the topics I'm going to be touching on when I'm one of the featured speakers at the 2026 Global FUE Conference in Guangzhou, China next month, where we're going to be talking about
Did you going to hire a film crew for this?
It's already done. Where I'm going to be talking about how putting barriers in front of patients make them better patients when they actually make it through to having surgery. The power of no, not to create more desire for surgery for your product, but forcing a realization of what they're getting into, that this is more serious than the patient realizes, because real clinics shouldn't be resorting to dancing office staff on Instagram Reels, that kind of bullshit. They shouldn't be doing these free consultations where we'll take anyone through and we'll just filter them as they come through. No, you filter them before they even get to the door by making them jump through hoops, so by the time they get to having surgery, they understand more than the average patient. And they're less likely to be a complaining patient if growth isn't 100%, because they understand that, okay, it may not be as full as I was hoping because of whatever reason, but I don't look like I've been botched. I don't look like, a zombie, like a repair patient, like Tillman used to look like. That is so much more important than people realize. And I'm going to be talking about that because
I think
a lot of clinics don't realize that.
That is the number one importance. I remember saying when I went there in 2019. That was before COVID. I said to her, if I'm not going to look natural, I know they all tell you they look natural. I said, I'll walk out the door now, you know, as in the sense when because I know that things are going to shrink and that things aren't going to look as good in 5 years, 10 years. I know that already. I'm prepared for that. But that's why, for me, having it on the crown's a lot better option to see how my body adapts. Like you said, I could get 10% growth. I could get no growth. I'll be ready for that. And hopefully, well, I know I won't be destroyed or anything like that. Disfigured. I've seen enough of her work, and
I wouldn't be.
there won't be a problem in that.
I wouldn't be hyper concerned about it. I know that, listen, our job and what I've always done is to let people know that surgery is a last resort. I've been saying that from the beginning of my career.
Yes.
I wrote about that, and I mean it. But those barriers are very important, what Joe was just talking about. In your case, I mean, the likelihood of you having a bad surgery is pretty slim. The odds are in your favor. It's good that you're adjusted. You're at a point where you're incredibly knowledgeable. You know the entire scope and the possible pitfalls. But I have a feeling you're going to come away with a really good. And I don't have a crystal ball. I mean, I don't know what your physiology is, whatever. But you're going to a good doctor. There's no reason why you're not going to do well.
It's how I think everything I've done so far is great, but it's not knowing how I'm going to respond. That's the curiosity side, And, you start seeing things like, the crown takes a lot longer to grow, and then there's not as much blood flow, and then there's this, and then there's that, and you start overthinking, That's what destroys you. But I'm not fearing the surgery will be bad. I'm just wondering how good a result I'll get. That's all it is. But I'm prepared if I get 30% growth. I am prepared for that, even though I don't want it.
No, well, of course.
That's pretty much it.
But that's an important place to be in, or to be prepared for. It really is, and I'm a big believer in it. That's why I'm making it the subject of my talk next month in Guangzhou, China, at the invitation of FUE Global. But I do feel it's important.
Where are you going?
That would be Guangzhou, China.
Where are you going again, Joe?
That's Guangzhou, China,
sure.
for the FUE Global conference. Arguably the largest brick and mortar conference on the planet.
China.
By the way, it's a combination of FUE Asia and FUE Europe coming together for this larger event, net larger event than either of the two separately.
And Graham, did you know that I won the first Lifetime Achievement Award at FUE Europe? I'm just kidding. Of course you know it. I talk about it as a joke all the time.
I've probably heard that about at least 10 times on the show.
Of course. Jesus Christ. That's what I have to do. Look, I almost feel bad about saying that because I don't think that the organization...
The same story for the last 30 years.
Yeah, I don't think the organization understands that. I mean, I think they take it seriously. It's just the way that it was... Who decided to present it to me, which is the joke. And it was all just to suck my you-know-what. That's it. All these awards, it's all politics. I mean, think about it. Who's really when someone says no, you hang on. When someone says no, you hang on. When someone says they're an award-winning hair transplant surgeon, what the fuck do you really think that means?
It's like being featured on the cover of a magazine for being a hair transplant doctor. Oops.
No, but really, what do you think that means? Who presents these awards? Do you think it's like
It's all bullshit.
It's complete. It's all politics. Listen, if someone puts on their website that they're award-winning and you don't even know what the awards are,
sometimes it's not even politics. Sometimes it's not even that deep.
That's true. I'm talking about from the from the trade organizations.
That profound.
Yeah. I'm talking about the stuff that's given away at the trade organizations.
Yeah,
You know,
I get it.
And how many people ring you up? How many people ring you guys up and say, "Oh, who's the best hair transplant place to go to in the world?" I remember my dad saying, when you'd see boxes and things like that on TV, and they'd come out and they'd say, "I'm number one in the world," and my dad would say, "The world's a big place." You know, there is no one. There is no one who is number one.
it's like when someone says to me that you have 100% money back guarantee in general, and I'm like, or lifetime guarantee. I'm like, who's lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's effing lifetime?
Yeah.
Look, anyone who wants to get information on
we
physicians, they can go to the American Hair Loss Association, AmericanHairLoss.org. Check that out. IHRS.org. Check that out. Make your own effing decisions. These are good starting points. And of course,
that's exactly right.
Of course, Joe's group of the most fabulous physicians ever to perform hair transplant surgery, a hair transplant mentor. All right, Graham, listen, we're going to go. I'm going to get some food.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys.
I'm glad we were taking your call. Thanks for calling in. Always good hearing from you.
Always good talking to you.
Not a problem.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I'll call you right before I go for surgery.
Yes, please do.
Right on. Yeah, good stuff.
We won't talk you out of it. We know that you're all
Take
set.
care, guys.
All right, later. Bye.
Oh, your videos talk me out of it every 5 seconds, Spencer, that pop up. Oh, my God. But anyway, have a good night.
All right, Graham.
They scared
Good
the shit
talking
out of
to
me.
you.
Have a good night.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
I love that guy.
He's the best. All of our Australian callers are the best.
That's true. That's true.
You got Adrian.
Good bunch of blokes down in Australia.
Yeah. Adrian. Now I got to go sifting through all the fucking videos to see when I was 45. Fucking dude, man. Jesus Christ. All right, guys.
I'm still thinking about it.
Dude. How long have you known me?
25 years.
Have I ever told you that I was well? Or am I just honest about my issues?
Have I ever told you you're well?
No, you've never disagreed with me when I say I'm not well.
I know. Yeah. You're just not realizing that.
I have OCD. I have a mild form of Tourette syndrome. Mm-hmm. And that's my life. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I have a Trump the earlier situation happening. That I know you're jealous of.
Except for the buzz cut in the back now. He doesn't do that. He still lets it dangle in the back.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was getting too stringy for me. All right, guys.
The nape of his neck is still jazz hands.
I got to hand it to that guy, man. No matter what people say about his hair, he just pushes forward, man.
Teflon, baby.
All right, guys. Until next time, be strong. God bless. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend. Good night.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the